In elementary school, I had Santa Claus's direct phone number. It's more accurate to say that my parents had Santa Claus's phone number. Basically what would happen every year, a couple weeks before Christmas, my parents would call Santa Claus and I would tell him exactly what I wanted for Christmas. And I was really lucky because most years I would get a fair number of the things that I asked for. And as I progressed in elementary school, it was really weird because other kids stopped believing in Santa Claus. But I was like, I talk to him at least once or twice a year. Why don't you believe in him? And I held out my belief in Santa Claus for as long as possible. But then, it was towards the end of the 90s, and my parents got new technology. They got caller ID. So one day that year, I got the phone talking to Santa Claus, and I noticed his phone number came up on the caller ID, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna save Christmas. So I wrote down Santa Claus's phone number, paying no mention to the fact that it was a 602 Phoenix, Arizona area code, and I brought that number to school the next day.
Oh my God.
And every single kid that didn't believe in Santa Claus, I'm like, hey, here's this number. You know how many great things I get every Christmas. Give him a call today at the end of school. And a couple days later, some of those kids came up to me and they're like, man, I talked to Santa. And I'm like, oh, well, what did he sound like? He's like, well, he did the ho, 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 and he had the deep voice. He did sound somewhat confused, though. But a couple weeks later after that, most of those kids got most of the things that they wanted for Christmas. And the next year, I did fall off on Santa Claus. We didn't call Santa that year. And years passed. And I was about to graduate from high school, and my family got invited to the Christmas party at my godparents, Bryce and Marilyn's house. They threw these wonderful Christmas parties, dinner parties. And at one point in the night, Bryce takes me aside and he's like, hey, Matt, do you remember talking to Santa Claus when you were a kid? I'm like, yeah, I never figured out what that was. I don't know how that happened. He's like, yeah, actually, I was your Santa Claus. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And he's like, yeah, your parents and I were running a scam on you. And I'm like, oh, that's so kind, that's so beautiful. And he's like, hey, do you remember why you stopped talking to Santa Claus? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of grew out of it. And he's like, yeah, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is you gave Santa Claus's phone number to a bunch of strangers. So basically, I am completely mortified at this point. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to you. I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, Matt, you don't understand. It was actually really beautiful. Because with you and your brothers and our extended friend group, you were one of the last kids that I was going to be able to be Santa Claus for. And so you doing that opened up a whole new world of Santa, the ability of children that I could be Santa Claus for. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, and actually I was really stressed out at the time because Bryce had been a criminal mediator in Phoenix, Arizona, and he was in the middle of a capital trial where they were trying to determine whether or not somebody was going to get the death penalty. So he would be in these 10, 12-hour days talking to these people, trying to figure out if this person was going to be on, in life without parole or get the death penalty, just really, really heavy stuff. And then he would come home and there would be a kid on his answering machine being like, hi, is this Santa Claus? And so just a huge pendulum swing. And he's like, yeah, it's so wonderful that you did this. I've been doing it ever since then. I've been doing it all these years. And I actually just got off the phone with somebody where I was their Santa Claus just before this party. So even though it was really uncomfortable initially, I really appreciate that you did that. And I'm like, oh, that's my pleasure. And I would love right now to, if you were interested, give you Santa Claus's phone number. But unfortunately, Bryce passed away a few years ago, and so I'm not able to give you Santa Claus's phone number. But if you are in the market for a Santa Claus, you can talk to me after the show, and you can get my phone number because I learned from the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.